Joining me on the Getting Lucky Mixed Martial Arts podcast is the currently ranked number 10 flyweight in the world. He's 11-1. He has a fight coming up against Chris Cariaso on UFC 155, the number 8 ranked flyweight in the world. Welcome to the show, John Moraga. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing well. Right now you train with some of the very best fighters in the world, fighters like the current lightweight champion Ben Henderson at the MMA Lab. How has that helped you raise your game and your preparation coming into bigger and more important fights?
It's big, it's big being able to see what guys like that are doing, and then what I was missing, or where I was lacking or whatnot. Then also just having them around to kind of be leaders. Ben's definitely a leader in the gym, so he definitely sets a high bar for just working hard and just how to go about things and making sure that you're doing the right stuff. So it's definitely helpful to see somebody that's successful and that's on the right track, and just kind of know where you're at and be able to follow and do some of the things that he sets as an example.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you're seeing a lot of things that he's doing skill-wise in the gym, but are you also picking up techniques for dieting, cutting weight, nutrition, cardio, those types of things as well?
Yeah, definitely. Cardio, that's one of the big keys I get at the MMA Lab. I get my strength and conditioning done there with the same coach as Ben. He's awesome. He's the best that I've ever worked with. And then as far as dieting and stuff, I've always been pretty good about making weight. I come from a wrestling background, so mm-hmm. I have a lot of experience in that area, but definitely I've learned a lot from Ben about that too. He's pretty strict about it, the way he goes about it, and I tried it last time for my first UFC fight, the kind of some of the stuff that he does, and definitely made the cut even easier. Those last few pounds came off a little bit easier than normal, so, and I felt good in my fight. So I think it's something I'm going to be trying again, and so yeah, I definitely learned from him in that area too.
Arizona State University has really become a factory of top-level fighters. I mean, you got guys like Cain Velasquez, Ryan Bader, C.B. Dollaway, Aaron Simpson, and yourself. What is it about the Sun Devil wrestling program that produces so much high-level talent compared to other wrestling schools?
I don't know, but I think it was just that group of guys that we had, back then. We were just all tough, we're just if we weren't the best skilled, we were just tough, you know what I mean? We made it tough. I don't know, that's the best word I can describe it, and I guess there's not too many opportunities for wrestlers anyway, so I guess just once Cain and those guys started having success, I think a lot of other guys just kind of opened their eyes and were like, hey, let's give this a shot, because there's actually a lot of us from our years there that are fighting nowadays.
Something that you have in common with Cain is your pride in your ancestry. You guys are both very proud Mexican Americans. What is it about the fighting spirit of Mexican fighters that have produced so many great champions in boxing and now in mixed martial arts?
I think it just has to do with the way we come up, man. We're just I hate talking about it because it sounds like, you got to bring up that little sob story or whatever. But man, we grow up rough, bro. We grow up rough. It's not like, you don't get a chance to be a little spoiled brat crybaby when you're growing up, especially when you got older brothers and sisters, or in my case, I had older brothers, I had step brothers, we learn to deal with adversity at a real young age and tough times, and then I think you just learn from real early on in life that life ain't fair, and you just have to deal with it, and it just kind of brings this attitude out, and then I think it just translates over real well. So us fighting, we're not going to give up. We got warrior spirit. So I personally, I just think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure a lot of Mexican Americans, we're just a couple generations better than our ancestors, and we're still not doing that good for the most part. So I think that's why we get that stereotype.
Yeah, just tons of heart, it seems like. Are there any fighters that you really looked up to as a kid, like maybe Julio Cesar Chavez or any of those guys? Who did you really look at as inspiration?
To be honest, I really wasn't I was always a boxing fan, but I wasn't I wasn't into it that much where I was watching every fight or I was reading about people or anything like that. I really didn't have any heroes, you know what I'm saying? I kind of grew up in the streets by myself and with my homeboys and just learning life like that, you know. It wasn't till MMA kind of got started and people that I know kind of got into it, and also I have a really good friend who I grew up with him basically. He's from Maryville also. It's Henry Cejudo, and he won an Olympic gold medal in wrestling. That was kind of the first, I had a lot of hands-on. I grew up with him, man. I was in the gym with him every day at Maryville. You know, I saw how hard he worked when he was a little kid, and I kind of always knew he was going to do something big. And then he ended up winning the Olympics. That was kind of my eye opener as to how things get done, man, how hard he worked to get there. And then I noticed the same thing with Kane at ASU. Kane was a good friend of mine. I spent a lot of time with him in the off season. Me and him would train a lot together, just staying active, just seeing the way he worked. And then when later on in MMA, I think just having Jamie Varner around, and then Dominic Cruz is somebody who I know through the Arizona wrestling circuits, and I was able to go out there and train with him, kind of see how he was getting his grind on, and then I ended up getting involved with the MMA lab and having Ben. So I think all those guys right there are pretty much the core of my, not inspiration, but those are mostly the guys that I look to try to, not necessarily look up to them, but I did look up to them in a way, you know what I mean? But they were who I learned from.
Yeah, they laid out the game plan for success and how hard it takes to do this, to how much effort you had to put in, things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously you've got a very, very high pedigree of wrestling coming from a D1 program, but I think the thing that's most surprising about your game is how smooth and explosive you are with your hands. Did you have any experience or background in boxing before you got into MMA? You said you spent a lot of time in the gym. Did you work on that before you started training mixed martial arts?
No, actually, I don't know, man. Since I stepped foot in the gym, people have always told me that they would ask me right away if I had any experience boxing, and I was like, nah. I think what it comes from is just from wrestling. Over the years of wrestling, you learn how to learn a technique. Someone could show something, and you learn how to pay attention to detail and how to actually do and feel what they're telling you to do. I think that's what I learned through wrestling, because I wasn't I wasn't the most fluid wrestler or the best wrestler right away. I think it took me a long time to really learn that, to learn how to learn. And then it just translated over real well when I started learning how to throw punches and stuff. I was able to just, I think just learn a little bit quicker and feel it a little bit more. And not only that, man, when I first stepped into the gym and I learned how to throw punches, I went home and threw punches for 3, 4, 5 hours at night. And then I was I kind of got addicted to it. I'll be chilling with my homies in the hood, and they'll be and I'll be throwing little combos out of nowhere, just, have my mind on it, and they'll be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Stop that shit. And I was just I was just hungry, man. I was just a lot of practice. That's really what it was. A lot of going home at night and doing it over and over.
It must be a dream come true for a guy that's a wrestler to be able to all of a sudden, now I get to punch this guy in the face? Oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I think a lot of times in wrestling, it was always it just wasn't, it's competitive and everything, but, I think there was just something missing about wrestling, and I think that's what it was, man. I think it's just being able to actually, do what you do. Not what you necessarily want to do, but, we get a lot of I had a lot of frustration and anger in me, man, so I get to release it now. I think that's what it is. I just release it.
So with your wrestling obviously you've got years of experience with that, and your boxing somewhat coming almost automatically with all the dedication that you put into it. What's been the area of your game that has required the most work and focus for you to improve from mixed martial arts?
I'm gonna have to say my cardio, because for wrestling, all through my years, I mean, I worked hard and everything, and I did what I had to do, but I always did what I had to do just to maintain. I never really got that, like, one thing I noticed about all those guys that I mentioned, Henry, Kane, Dominic, Ben, they don't just like do enough to maintain. They attack their workout. They give all their effort to get, they're not afraid to get themselves tired when they work out. And I think in the past, all throughout wrestling and everything, that's one of the things that I was lacking. I just wrestling, you ain't getting hit in the face. So if you get taken down, you're kind of like, whatever, I'll get that back. Or, you know what I mean? It ain't like you're getting bumped and bruised and beat up for your mistakes. So I think I was just kind of allowing myself to just be like whatever and just rely on my talent that I had, and I never really pushed myself. Like I thought I did at the time, but then when you go back and you look back and you see the stuff that you could have done better, I think that's the main thing that it was. So I'll say my cardio, because once you're in shape, man, if you can go harder than that guy, I don't care if he's better than me or not. You know what I mean? If you're going harder and he can't keep up with you, that's like the main. That's like, to me, that's real important in MMA.
Yeah, I love John Fitch's fights. He doesn't come across as a very exciting fighter, but once you get to about the midpoint of the second round, you can see the other fighters start drowning because Fitch just doesn't stop.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris Cariaso, your opponent coming up at UFC 155, he's known for his kicks. What have your coaches added to your game plan to prepare for this fight?
I mean, I basically, how I see myself is I'm not really like boxing based. I'm actually kickboxing based. I'm actually just recently sharpening up my boxing. But actually, I felt like more I was a kickboxer to start with anyway, because I learned punches and kicks, and when you add kicks in the mix, you can't just like straight box. So I'm not worried about his kicks at all. I've sparred with the best kickboxers already. I know he's not going to be anything better than the guys that I've seen already.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I mean, we've got our little the way we're going to go about this fight, but I'm fine. If he wants to throw kicks, let's throw some kicks. You know what I mean? I plan on throwing kicks anyway.
So I know you like to stand and bang, but do you think you're going to try to go for more takedowns?
I don't want to give away my game plan or anything like that, but it's mixed martial arts. It's wherever it goes, I'm ready for it. So you actually never really know till you're in there anyway. There's been fights where let's say you get knocked off balance or something and the guy's right there in front of you. I mean, it's going to be your natural instinct to grab him or whatever. So you actually really never know until the situation in the cage, put you in whatever mode you decide to go into. But I could tell you this, I go into every fight. I like to fight. I like to make it a fight. Wherever the fight, like I said, wherever it goes, I'll be ready for it. But I like to stand up. There's no secret about that. I've always said that. So, we'll see what happens. But I'll be ready for wherever it goes. But you're gonna see me in there fighting no matter where it goes. I don't care if I'm on top, if I'm off my back, if I'm on the feet. Wherever it is, like, the point is that I'm going to be fighting. I'm not going to be sitting there trying to lay on somebody, trying to win by points. I'm going to be trying to finish the fight, because that's what I pride myself on doing. That's the kind of fighter that I want to be known for, just an exciting fighter. I don't want to be the one that's going in there and getting these boring wins or just getting by.
Cariaso actually has quite a few decisions. It's kind of... I think he has 4 finishes on his entire career. Are you worried about his power or his subs at all?
I don't want. I mean, I respect it. I'm pretty sure he still has power, regardless of the fact that if he's finished anybody or whatnot, or how many decisions or how many knockouts he has. I mean, he still got power. You know what I mean? All he has to do is land that shot. But I'm not really worried about No, I'm not really worried about anybody's power. I'm not actually. I actually don't even worry about anything they have to offer. You know what I mean? You game plan for it. You kind of try to see what their strengths are, so you can be aware. But I'm never really too worried about my opponent's what he's bringing to the table. I'm kind of just more focused on what I got to do, making sure what I got to do is on point. I'm sharp, and I spar with a lot of 155ers anyway. So they hit me pretty hard, so I'm pretty sure I could take whatever he gives me.
Cariaso right now is ranked number 8th in the world. He's 14-3. If you win this fight, when you win this fight, do you want a top 5 fighter or maybe even a title shot? Do you think you're ready right now?
Yeah, I think I'm ready, but I don't really care. I'm not really worried about that. Whatever the UFC wants to do with me, it's cool with me. I'm ready. The way I see it is I plan on winning every fight. So if I win every fight, I'm going to have to fight all the top guys anyway. So whatever. I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for whoever they put in front of me. So, the order doesn't really matter to me. That's basically what it boils down to. If you play, you get in this sport to be a champion or to be the best, and you with that mindset, like I said, I'm gonna have to fight them all anyway. They're all gonna just be in line. It doesn't really matter the order. I don't plan on losing to any particular one. So whatever the order may be, as long as I have time to prepare and be ready for each opponent, I feel like I have a good chance against anybody.
You have to admit, though, you have probably a little bit of extra motivation when John Dodson comes up on that list. You'd like to avenge that loss, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not so much the avenging the loss, because to me, in my mind, I didn't lose that fight, man. I chased him around the damn cage for like 20 minutes, whatever we fought. But what I didn't like is, I didn't finish the fight. I didn't find a way to adapt inside that fight, and I just kind of, I didn't do what I had to do, I guess, to win those judges' opinions or whatnot. So I just take it as a lesson learned. Got to get better from it, and I know I'll get my chance to prove to everybody the kind of fighter that I am. Dodson's actually pretty cool. I've seen him multiple times. We get along. Ain't no animosity or ain't no really point of if I dwell over that and say I want revenge, I feel like it's just gonna lose my focus. Like there ain't even no reason. But it's definitely motivating to see him in there and to know that like, hey, I've been in there with him and I've he definitely didn't overwhelm me, and he's fighting for a world title, and if he wins, even better, because it kind of that's my only loss. So people will recognize that, but it's not really like that. I want to avenge that loss with Dodson. It's more like I just want to get in there and keep working, keep fighting, and fight for a title, and just the main thing what everything boils down to and why I fight is just to provide for my family. I have 2 little boys, and they're my reason for doing everything, and I just want to be able to be a good dad and provide for them, man. Provided a lot of things that I didn't have for myself. I want to be able to give them a good life, So that's my main motivation for anything.
I'm sure a knockout of the night bonus would go a long way to making a great Christmas for those 2 little boys. What's your prediction for your fight with Cariaso?
I'm gonna just predict that I win, but that bonus comes, cool. I thought I had a pretty good knockout last time, and so did the other guys too, So being first on the card, I think it just I don't know if I'm still first or they might have me second now, but I don't think our chances are that good as the guys on the main card or I feel like maybe they kind of like earned their spot to be on that main card, those televised fights maybe. So I don't know what happens, but either way, I feel like as long as I go out there and fight and do what the UFC wants me to do, I'll get taken care of either way, and good things will come my way eventually. And so it would definitely be nice, but I'm not really, even if I did get a knockout, I'm like first on the card, so I'm not really too getting my hopes up,
Yeah, and it's a shame because this fight between you and Chris Cariaso is like one of the sneaky good fights on the card. I think to the casual fan, you guys may not have a lot of name value, but to the diehard fans, they're like, this is a super exciting matchup. What's your prediction for Cain Velasquez versus JDS?
Real quick, I'm gonna go back to a point that you just made. I think it is an important fight, and I do kind of have like a real big chip on my shoulder. I feel like the flyweights aren't getting our respect, man. We're not getting, like, we're top 10 flyweights. What are we doing on the very beginning of the card? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my plan is to go out there and earn our respect, take it. You know what I mean? If they don't want to give it to us, we're gonna take it. And I think Cariaso's a really good opponent to mix it up with to get our respect. So I think it's gonna be a good fight, and we're gonna earn a lot of fans. But as far as Cain and JDS. Cain's my boy, man. I don't want to jinx him and make predictions, man. But I know he has the ability. I know he can win. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm rooting for, and that's why I got my hopes in that fight. And hopefully everything goes well. And I like JDS too, though, man. He's a good representative of the sport. I'm sure he works hard and he's very good at what he does. So either way, fight fans they're gonna be in for a good fight. I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed with the way the last fight happened, but hey, man, sometimes that's the way. Sometimes things happen, and I'm sure no one can really. You expect the unexpected in every fight, so it is what it is.
Yeah, and from what I understand, Cain Velasquez actually fought with a pretty shredded knee in that fight. Well, I thank you again for your time. You've been more than generous. Do you want to say anything to your fans before we go?
Just thanks to all my supporters, man. Thanks to my teammates and my coaches, everybody that's supported me from day one, man. It means a lot, and I won't let you guys down. You guys are gonna see a war.
Be sure to follow John on Twitter at ChicanoJohn. Also, look for him on the UFC 155 undercard on December 29th in Las Vegas, Nevada. John, thank you very much, and have a great Christmas.
Thank you, guys. You too. スパーク空高くビタカ合体ゲッター